Good evening, yogis. How are you doing? I hope you're at home joining us for our relaxing yoga flow. We will be streaming from the studio for night classes, but we're very excited to let you know outdoor classes are coming, so please watch. We decided to pause for a moment, check all the safety regulations, and check with council and make sure that we're following everything, because nothing is more important to us than your safety and knowing that you will be okay if we come out and we all meet. Keeping, of course, social distancing very relevant at this moment. I'm practicing tonight with props that you will be able to find around your house, and I've grabbed a space and we'll talk about setting up your own home space in days to come. We'll also look at some other different models like Zoom that will allow you to be able to be connected with and be watched by another yoga teacher to keep your practice safe. Sometimes when we're practicing at home, it's difficult because we don't have anyone watching us to give us that feedback. But don't worry, yogis, we will move to a digital yoga studio that will be so much more than just the video delivery system that we're working on right now. But for now, we're just going to put all of that aside. We'll take a deep breath, let it go, just move it away so we can come into our practice with peace and ease. I'll just check that we're recording. Yes, there we go. Fabulous, we're great. I'm used to seeing like little faces pop up. So we're going to come and grab a hold of a blanket that you might have at home, and we'll roll it up for under the knees. Roll, roll, roll. You can even double it up. And that's going to create a bolster for us as we come into tonight's practice. And we'll use the pillow. It can be a block or it could be another option for a bolster. So come down and pop the bolster and your blanket underneath your knees. And as you lay yourself down to the floor, just let a little softness come into the low back. Maybe bring the hands into the belly, reposition your body so the heels are out nice and wide. And then you can close down your eyes and just let the face soften. Take a deep breath in. And an even bigger breath out. We'll do that about 5 more times. I'm going to begin to empty the mind. We come into tonight's practice with the intention of just letting everything go, but that awareness of breath. So notice as the breath draws into the body, as it reaches down into the lower lobes of the lungs, as it exhales and softens the back of the ribs. Find those spaces that it's touching. And all the spaces that maybe the breath is absent from, can you fill into the full container of the chest? And can you let it all drain away? Keep going, slow breath in. Expand, and even slower breath out. Feel those low back muscles begin to release now. Another few more. There's no hurry or rush. We've got time for practice. And time for breath. Good. I'm going to bring the bolster. So we can take the blanket, the pillow, or maybe both. And we'll come into a supported bridge pose. So you don't want to be looking at the camera here. You want to keep your neck looking straight up to the ceiling, so it's nice and safe. Maybe that's high enough, or maybe you've got a little bit more elevation. So we're going to lift up and place it underneath, just so we can get those hips up high, and we can begin to relax the heart. Let the hands come down. Begin to close the eyes. That might be enough, but if it's been a particularly troubling day and there's that extra tension in the back, we'll take the feet out, like a little yin or restorative variation of wheel pose. And then we'll let go. So there's a curvature in the spine and an opening broadness in the chest, a direction of the shoulder blades opening outwards, and the collarbones drawing along. And then we'll let go and we'll sink. You can breathe the breath across the front of the ribs and across the front of the hip bones, and just begin to decompress and unknot the tummy. Sometimes you can get those little bound up knots there. We soften them with breath. That's all it takes sometimes, is a pausing, is the stopping, and then the allowing the body to relax. It's going to create that space that we'll use in a moment when we come into Setu Bandha Shavasana. So I'm going to continue to look up and note at the camera, just to remind you to stabilize that neck. And then when you're ready, we'll step those feet in. Draw the heels towards the bottom. Let's take a little tuck of the belly button to the spine. Let's come down, create a little extra platform upon the earth, and press up. You can move those props away now. Just travel them out to the side. I'm going to roll the spine down in a rippling motion. So think of the vertebra of the spine walking down slowly to the floor. Can you take time and feel that stretch, that smooth fluidity in the spinal muscles? I'm going to roll it up. Feel that little curling in. Press the hands down, arms as a secondary foundation as you lift, lift, lift. Neck long, press tall. And then exhale, unravel the spine slowly. And there's no rush. Sometimes that's what we need, that permission to go slow. Particularly when the day has been hectic. Begin to lift, lift, lift. Feel the rising of the breath in the chest, directing the knees and the hips to grow high. As you exhale, that unraveling of the spine down, 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 until the bones can sink through the floor to the core of the earth. Beautiful. And from here, we'll pick right foot up, and we'll bring it over the top of left. Pop the left knee in the middle. That might be enough. We might want to find a little double bind. If you can, tuck those toes. Well, not today, hey? And then the hands are going to come up. We'll just pull that back down to the floor. We're going to take eagle pose on the earth. So if the right leg is on top, we'll bring the left arm on top. And crossing at the elbows, maybe the hands just come around, grab opposite shoulder blades, and that's you today. So you can just reach and draw them away, particularly if you've been tense around the shoulders. Maybe the hands will come together. Now you're going to use the floor here to help you get that length in the spine. So in a way it could be the best eagle pose you've ever done, because your spine will remain long. We'll activate the core to bring the legs up, and the knees and the elbows are coming together. Notice if the tightness comes into the shoulders, and drop them down. And now work the breath. So it's subtle. Just by bringing those 2 points, elbows and knees together, you're going to feel that core work. And keeping the tailbone heavy, spreading across that bony plate of the sacrum. Just stimulating and awakening the core muscles so we can come back to center. Feel that place deep within us, where we arise from in our practice. One more breath. Notice if you started tensing. And then we'll bring things down to the floor. Unravel the body, and let the knees fall out to the right. Now if this is too much, you've always got the option of hopping the hips over towards the right first, and there's a little bit more ease as you roll into that left hip. Sorry, knees are coming to the left, not the right. Chin's coming to the right. You can breathe. Too much, grab a hold of the bolster or the pillow and just pop it underneath your knees so there's a softness for the bones to rest on, and the chin can cross. The face can grow soft. It'll be easy. Don't worry, I don't have a cold. It's just lying upside down. Bring that little bit of strain into the throat. See? Fine. 3, 2, and 1. Wake the core up before you come back to center. And then as you unravel the legs, put your spine back in the middle of your mat. Perfect. Second side. Set that right foot to the middle, left leg comes up, and hook those toes around if that's available. Some days it is and some days it isn't. Oh, not today. And sometimes the body is different on different sides. What we do want to do is keep that tail heavy and that low back planted as we lift up. And the toes are coming towards each other, even if they're not crossing over. I'm going to bring the right arm on top of the left. So keep that spread at the back on the floor, even as you direct those hands in, and you've got the option for opposite shoulder blades and peeling space. You might want to come in and find that double bind. If you can, turn the wrists away. It's like you're turning the wrists up towards the ceiling. It'll lock the shoulders in place. But relax if there's any pulling through the lines of the arms. And then draw everything in. And feel that activation of the core. So in our eagle pose, we want the floor to be aligning the spine. And you can feel some acidity, that equal balance across the span of the hips and the shoulders. And then we'll breathe and hold. And it is an energetic engagement of the muscles in the mid-body. So if you feel a little bit of shaking, you're not doing it wrong. It means that you are working. But sometimes to turn a muscle off, we have to turn it on first. We remind it what it feels like to be activated. And then it falls into softness, almost like a sigh of relief when we let it go. We just breathe and be with our practice. Beautiful. Another 3 breaths. Keep pulling them in and feel the legs getting lazy as that lower abdominal region just begins to fatigue. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the feet down. We'll open up those arms, and it feels so good. You might even want to wiggle the shoulders like, whew, now there's all that space. You can just allow the knees to fall to the right this time. But if you did so on the other side, and it does feel really lovely to do so, lift the hips up and scooch them over to the left-hand side of the mat. You might even want to grab that pillow, that little softness for the bones to rest on. And pop it so the knees have somewhere to land. As you exhale, let the legs fall over. And bring the chin towards the left shoulder. And work the breath into the sides of the rib cage. And chin softens. Slow breath in. And a slow, easy breath out. And close down the eyes here. And just enjoy being close to the earth. There's a reason why we call it being grounded. The earth's energy is naturally calming, progressive release. The muscles just drop. Beautiful. Stay present in your practice. We could stay here all night, but we won't. But slowly we can just squeeze the knees together, bring yourself back to center, and unravel your body. Your legs come nice and wide. And we'll take those windscreen wiper legs. So keep a little bit of length in the tail. Just let the knees fall, and you can let them flop and roll across the back now. And just a slow shaking side to side. When you're ready, you're going to let one side call to you. Turn yourself all the way over and bring yourself up into all fours. We'll wiggle and put the knees underneath the hips here. Lengthen it out the back. You might want to grab a hold, your pillow, your blanket. We'll come down to the floor. If the knees widen, the toes touch. It's a little bit easier to bring the belly to the earth. And then you've got a nice little spot here just to compress gently into the abdominal region to create support for the low back. Hands can come down and you can rest. Let the elbows widen. Even bring one ear to the floor, one ear to the bolster, the pillow. Reposition if it doesn't work for your body. Until you're really able to rest. For some reason, it's really hard to take these moments for ourselves until somebody gives us permission to do so. So come and rest. Join us as you relax. That's why the practice becomes important, these regular check-ins. It's so easy to forget to take the time out for you. Lift the head up and slowly turn the body. The right ear rest. And then sink and get heavy. Another 5 breaths. When you're ready, bring the head to center. Just gently press up. Keep the legs out nice and wide. Spend a moment taking a few shoulder rolls. Just settle the shoulder down the back. And just shake the head loose. We'll move one of the props away, but you might want a towel or a blanket for underneath the knee as we come into low lunge. So now we'll bring the knees under the hips. So we've got them hip distance apart. And then a little bit of softness as you step the right knee onto the pillow or the blanket or the towel. Bring the left leg forward. We'll come up into that high lunge. Lift up the head. Create that length in the back. Now really anchor down through the foot. As you exhale, hip will soften. And it will. Give it time. Shoulders soften as well. Let the flow of the breath into the back of the lungs just relax the face. And we drop. Give it a little while for the muscles to relax. Particularly in times where we feel so hasty, it's nice to have time to slow it down. And carve out that little chunk just to create that mind-body connection. And here we're going to pull the hips back, release the hamstrings. Bring the hands down towards the floor. And you might keep a bend in the knee. You might need some little blocks, or you can use books at home. You might even need to take the foot forward. Lift it up. Ha. And then you can tuck the back toes if you need an extra point of anchoring. Lift those left toes up. And then look to the front of the mat. Breathe into the back of the hips. And do a gentle drawing back that just creates that space that decompresses in that lumbar spine. As you sink down, the body gets heavier. As time invites it to the earth, there'll be a release out through the hamstring. Soften it down. We'll take an open twist to work the core. So the left hand will come down just outside the left shoulder. Left foot. We're going to lift the right shoulder up. Twist and turn. And see how that works for you. You have the option of narrowing the base to make it a little bit more challenging. Bring the left hand in and open the right hand up again. Notice how you have to work with balance and focus as you pull the hips back. Maybe even come up on your fingertips. Maybe one fingertip. Maybe no hands. Maybe an L. Just little variations. Now lift up your heel. I'm just joking. Come all the way down. Hands to the floor. And you'll notice as you step the left knee back that there's a difference. Where exactly you feel it in your body, though, will be unique to how your body was today. And bring the right leg forward now. I'm just going to swing it around. So now the left knee is on. And we'll press up. Use the hands to come down. Just notice the span of your hips and your legs. And make sure that that knee is not coming over the ankle joint. If it is, caterpillar, toes forward. And then elongate through the spine. As you exhale, melt the belly. Grip down to that big toe and center into the heel. I've got the back leg tucked. You can have the toes drop to the floor. I just like the feedback. It's an extra point of contact. As we reach up to the crown, that little puppeteer string, we're going to drop down to the shoulders so the diaphragm has space to breathe. And we're going to hold and not be hasty. Sometimes you want to be hasty because that is sensation and hum. Breathe into the belly. Maybe over time space becomes available. And maybe it doesn't, and that's okay. In a moment or two, when time is right, we'll move to our hamstring release. Hands come to the floor, and we'll pull the hips back. You might need to reposition the toes depending on where your leg is. And maybe you want to keep your toes on the floor. Just line up your ankle and your toes. Maybe you want to lift up. And that's up to you. What we do want to do though is notice what we're doing with the neck and the hands. So you can be up high, maybe up on those blocks. Have a prop. It just makes the arms longer. Sometimes those arms, and some days those arms are a different size to others. As you lengthen out the back and you drop down, there's that stretch deep into the leg. You can also feel a gentle tension being drawn from the lower back. And then look beyond the mat. We look down, we tend to feel the energy draw down. And so we look into the future with that peace and that calm. Bring equanimity into the practice. Maybe let those back toes touch, find that anchoring point. Might become particularly relevant as we twist. So from here, easy twist. We'll keep the right hand out to the side. Just going to keep an extra expanse, an extra broadness to the base as we lift up. And we try and lift the belly up and then pull the hip back. Notice if one side is pulling, I can feel that pulling coming from the left glute. I'm going to breathe into it. Maybe look down, and it'll make you feel grounded. If you're looking for that little bit of extra challenge to the core, bring the right hand inside. Activate into the glutes, work the back body, and then lift it up. So you might only come up slightly. You can come all the way up. And I can feel that today it's going to be a little bit more challenging if I try for that L shape. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You think you can or you think you can't, said Henry Ford. And you're right. Reach, 3, and breathe. 2, juicy. 1, I'll come all the way back down. And we'll step the knee back. And a lot of that was just to distract you from what was happening in your hips. And now some lovely little cat-cows. You might want to come onto the forearms for this one. Just feels a little bit different. Tuck into the tail. Work with the pelvis first. I'm going to ripple it up the spine. So curl. Maybe as it comes in, the chin moves in a little bit more. And the next one again. More doming into the shoulders, more rounding into the back, more squeezing of navel to backbone. And then release. Now, for any reason, including if you're pregnant or if you have had a big lot of cheese when you got home, both of those are valid, you can bring something underneath your hips as we come down to Sphinx pose. So again, we've got our homemade bolster here. Bring it down. Just going to keep that belly off the floor. And the elbows are going to come underneath the shoulders. I'm going to lengthen out to the neck. I'm going to breathe. A little bit of stress isn't always a bad thing. It's actually going to optimize the strengthening of the back here. If the bolster's a bit strange, and look down, fix it up. And then lift the head here. Think of a baby. It has to strengthen its neck, and so do we, often we're on devices, looking down. So as you elevate the chin, bring it parallel to the earth, maybe even gently draw back through the neck. And let the shoulders grow soft. We'll feel that strengthening of those muscles of the neck so the head can be upright. And we'll breathe. If you want even more again, think of your Pilates imprint. Bring your hips towards your ribs. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to bring it down to crocodile's pose. So we'll bring the hands out. This is just a gentle back bend. It's a really nice way to decompress the back. We'll bring the hands and rest them down with the elbows broad. And just let the earth open up the chest. And a few breaths here. You might want to lift the feet up and just wind and scream, wipe them side to side if there was any compression built up in that back. Or let it go. You're going to prepare for a twist. We'll let the legs come down. We'll reach the right hand out. The fingertips, particularly the right thumb aligned with the right shoulder. Right hand to the floor, left hand in. Kick the heel to the bottom and roll over. And as you lift up the knee, plant the foot down to the floor. That might be you today. And breathe as we open the hips. Let the shoulders soften. Maybe hand comes in. Maybe that left hand comes up and rests on the back. And that's an option too as you move the breath into the belly. Big breath in. Big breath out. And slow exchanging of air. And gently opening up the chest. There might be noise around you present in your environment. Just attend to it and enjoy being able to practice as you let it all go. And sometimes that's what it's mostly about. It's not what you gain from your practice, but what you can surrender and part with. When you're ready, hand comes down. We'll slowly roll into the belly. And then we'll take the left hand out. And this could be interesting, so I'm going to be the other way. We'll take the ear down to the floor. Bring the right hand in. Kick the heel to the bottom. And then roll. And you want to see if you can get the toes down. Maybe you can get the foot down. Open up across that span of the hips. We'll give it a few breaths. You want that left hand so the thumb is aligned with the shoulders. As you roll onto it, you'll create space in the chest. And then maybe right hand will come up. Maybe it'll come onto the back. And just open up that little chicken wing. Create spaciousness in the front chest. And we'll breathe. Relax. Give it some breaths to set, like jelly. Let it take form and structure. Let it solidify. To the benefit of the pose is felt with the hips and the shoulders and that release in the muscles of the back. Last breath. When you're ready, hand comes down. And we'll travel ourselves back to center. And we'll lift up. You might want to find a downward facing dog today. Or you might just want to take a child's pose and move those props away for a moment. So this might be you. Or maybe even embryo pose. Bring the hands in, round the back. Or if you're feeling a little bit more energized, and then you just want to bring that little inversion in, get the blood down into the head, and tuck the toes, lift the hips up. And depending on what kind of day you've had, depends how wide those feet are going to want to come. Because we're being a little bit more relaxing today, we'll set them out really nice and wide. And then we can just shake loose that tail, decompress that back. Spread the fingers though. Whew. And then activate. Draw the muscles just of the back long to open up through the seat. So there's a little rolling in of the tips of the knees. To help you do that, you can take the heels a little bit further out. It's a little bit more relaxing on the knee joint. A little bit more of a stretch on the calves. 3, 2, 1. And then we'll drop the knees down. And how would it be a relaxing flow without a pigeon pose? So I'm going to bring the right knee forward. I'm going to flip around to do that so I can show you how to prop it up. Stand where you are. have your props nearby. Bring the right knee forward, and we'll step that left leg back. Now the right heel, it's not going to be underneath, it's going to be over to the side, and then we're going to reach back and let the glutes be seated on the earth. And maybe if that hip isn't coming down, you can use your towel, you can use your pillow. The other option is to have your left knee out to the side, like a 90-90. But then still rotate, so you're looking forward. So you can do that twist and that release, and then we'll fold. If you're here, and this might be your option today, or you might be more like a 90-degree shape, and that's a space that you can go to as well. But your body will dictate. If you are in that full variation of pigeon, I want you to keep that flexion in the right foot, and just keep the ankle and knee safe. So slowly come down. Maybe this is where you want something to cuddle into. Maybe your hands come up. You might not want to touch the face too much, and that's a very valid idea. Or maybe you can come all the way down to the floor. Maybe it takes time to move through those progressions. And that's okay. The body will respond to kindness with much more ease. And particularly in our yoga practice, with much more range than it would if we tried to force it. There's no danger of injury here when we move with kind awareness. We can come down and practice ahimsa, non-harming. Time. Stay with the practice. When you're ready, we'll slowly come up. Nice and slow. And if there's any tension there, just move that knee out to the side. Turn it around. We'll hop it up to the second side. So bring the knee back. You might feel that sensation of release. And second side, you bring your props over towards the left. And then we'll draw the knee forward. We'll open the heel out. You can pop back. Pop back, pop back. But whatever you do on this side, you want to find a variation that's kind of similar. A new side might mean a new story. This side might not move as far as the other. But if it is available, you want to take that same shape. Well, in order to allow you to do that, you might need to prop the body. Reposition. Give the body a moment to shuffle and find something that works for you. I miss the mirror, a little bit of feedback. It's okay, if you do have a mirror, it's a beautiful thing to set up in your home space. And as we come down to the earth, we begin that lengthening out to the back. Let it be a slow process. There's no rush, no need to be hasty. Bit by bit, the body will soften. Keep anchoring down through the tip of the right knee. And a little bit more. Just humble down, sink to the earth. And then the earth can take a hold of the body, and it can hold for us whatever it was that we've been holding on to all day. And you surrender it over. And you let the earth do the work now, so you don't have to. Breathe in. When you're ready, we're going to begin to lift up. Begin to walk those hands in. You might need to take that knee out to the side. Nice and slow. Swing it around. We'll bring the soles of the feet together and come into a little Baddha Konasana. So we'll take it to the side. Actually no, maybe I'll bring it to the front. So if you want to work a little bit more into the groins, bring the heels in. You use the hands. You might want to take a little rock side to side. That can feel nice, just to massage the sit bones here. But if this feels really tight for you, if your knees are rising up, your butterfly has got tense wings, I want you to bring your feet out, lengthen into a Tarasana. And we'll slowly begin to drop down. And bring the hands in. And open up the elbows, let the head rest. Lengthen out that crown. And give it time to sink. There's no rush here. Time moves a little slower in our practice, and that's one of the things that is so delicious about the practice, is that opportunity just to relax and sink it down. Give it time, more yin-like approach. I'll give you another variation. You might even want to bring those hands down. So you can bring the hands out, have the palms upright. It's going to help you stretch the back. I'm going to give you an option called turtle pose. So maybe bring the knees in, take the legs out nice and wide. This time you try and reach back to the back corners of the mat. You'll notice that changes my shoulders. And then, as you begin to draw the feet out, ooh, it will bring you close to the floor. Now this is one that you don't want to get stuck in. So don't go too deep. I could go deeper, but there's no one around to pull me back out. So I won't. You want to get hinged down there and then, like a rusty hinge, get stuck. And just let everything soften. Pull those fingertips back. Let that heart drop down. Three. And two. This is the rebound effect. And this is why you don't want to get down too low. Because as you try and move, you might feel very, very old. And that's just a muscular fatigue. Well, not muscular fatigue, connective tissue fatigue. But it's like muscular fatigue. You can just check out those legs. Let's reverse it. Let's come into a little baby back there. I'll just turn it around so you can see. We'll take a bend to the elbows, spread the fingers nice and wide. And two options. Have a little bit of space between the heels and the hips so you can press up and find your reverse table. And then the gaze can come up if that feels okay for the body. And we'll work into the belly and lengthen out. Or the option is to come into a little reverse plank. Lift up, reach those toes down. Maybe embrace that openness of the throat. We'll stay here for 5, and 4, 3, 2, and drop it down to 1. Fish pose. Let's keep working with the back. You might want to bring a prop for the head here. I'm going to bring the elbows down. And your option is beach pose. So you just look towards your toes, checking out your pedicure. Or you can take that block or pillow for the head if this feels too far away. I'm going to bring the head down and try and touch it to the floor. Now as I do that, there's that moment that I lift up the bottom of the ribs and I create that space. You can lift up. Your final option is to come all the way down, to roll over to one hip. Get the elbow underneath, and then the other one. And then the elbows drawing into the midline, the fingers pressing to the floor. Lift up, So you work from the elbows. The same shape, but there's less hang on the neck. This might be an option that feels better for your body. You can find a fish that works for you as long as you're opening up that back body, creating that movement in the spine. You draw the belly in and it'll make you feel safer through the low back. And then when you're ready, we'll tuck. And just move the hands out. I'm going to come up into a seat. So you might want to draw the knees into the chest. You can use the core if you want to. Just pull down that little imprint, both knees come in. And hands to the back of the thigh as you rock up. Little boat pose first before we come back down again. So maybe you want to bring the hands behind. Just let your belly snuggle onto your thighs. Maybe you want to do this with the hands extended. Just choose your own adventure. Walk those toes in. As you inhale, just float up and balance on your hip bones. Let your shoulders soften. Maybe that's enough, or maybe the legs come out. Because it's an easy practice today, I'm going to let the arms hold me up. But if you're feeling hardcore, you can bring the hands out. You can even reach the hands to the ears. Tonight, that's not for me. I'm just going to work with my body. I'm going to come back in and want a little softness. And that's okay. Some days we rest, some days we work hard. Work with that intuitive wisdom, or what you require in this moment. When you're ready, the feet can come down, and we'll roll back down to the floor. Maybe the feet out, slow, slow, slow travel. Roll, roll, roll. Until you're ready to rest. I'm just going to turn it around. You stay where you are, and you enjoy how good that feels to be on the floor. Beautiful. Let's open up the hips. So you can keep the left leg planted, and if you're having any difficulty with that low back, maybe bring a little diamond shape through the hands, or even that little towel or a blanket underneath. As you press the left foot down, get aligned with the left hip bone first. We'll lift up, and we'll draw the knee into the chest. And travel it out to the side. The knee into the chest, then out to the side. And that's because in a moment we're going to flex the right foot. And maybe you're doing this with the hands on the back of the legs. Notice how my head and my shoulders are down, and my tail is heavy. That's why we want to stay within the pose. Maybe the hands reach up and they grab a hold of the outer leg, and then there's that little bend in the elbow. The left hand can come down and it can massage the left hip into the floor. Maybe the hand wants to come up and grab the outside of the foot. And that's an option too. So you're going to work with your body. As you open the knee out to the side, you'll feel more and more stretch. Just go with what you're comfortable with. There's no need to force the body somewhere it doesn't want to go. This is a lovely release. You've got a final progression if that's for you tonight. Take the other leg out. And then sink. Stay with it. When you're ready, pop the foot in. And we'll bring the leg down. We're moving the right knee away. If you need to reposition, so you've got a balance there, you can do that. Keeping the neck nice and long. Let's begin to lift the left leg up if that's your practice tonight. And then the hands can thread through. You want to keep that connection through the back of the shoulder heads. Come in. Maybe the hands to the back of the leg. That's a little bit more easeful. That might be for you tonight. Let's keep the flexion in the foot. So you pull the knee towards the shoulder. Get that right elbow in there. Use it to encourage the right knee away. moment, we're going to let the leg drop down. And you'll notice that there's already a shift in the physical body. It comes from being on that earth. Right where leg will draw to the earth, and will reposition. And keep that right heel aligned with the right sit bone as you come up to the other side. The left hand might come in, might rest on the side, and then flex the foot. Maybe to the outside, maybe even all the way to the blade edge of the foot. I'm going to open up that span of the hips as much as it allows. And it might be different on this side. And the weight of the arms can be enough. That right hand can remind that right hip to be heavy. And close down your eyes as we here for time. And just a principle of space. So breathe. Direct breath into the body. Create that space in the lungs. Direct space into the hips by using the healing work of the posture to ease out tight bits, to release tension. Trying not to bore here. It is so calming, so relaxing, particularly when we release the hips. There's such a seat, such a holder of emotional tension. Another few breaths. And then we'll bring the foot down. And just keeping that little bit of flexion. Press the left knee away. Reposition the spine if you've gone out of the shape. Just relax. We'll move into that deeper version if that's right for you. Bring the knee in, bring the fingers around, and lace them onto the shin. Just let the chin be tucked. Get that left elbow in there. Let it know, or let the left knee know it's going to draw away. Slow breath in. And slow breath out. When you're ready to put the foot down onto the floor. Let's begin to open those arms out nice and wide. And we'll take the feet out. Walk them wide enough, maybe lift the tail, until there's enough space that the legs can drop in. Just let them support each other. Relax. I want to take the arms out into that big T shape. I'm going to prepare for a spinal twist in a moment. Knees face up. Right foot lifts. And take a hold of the left knee with the flexed right foot. And use it to drag the left knee across. And then the chin can come out to the side. You can bring the hands down, using the anchor to the earth. You can keep goalpost arms. And this might be you today. My favourite variation, it's a good one to be able to do on camera because you can actually see it, is bring that knee out to the side. So the right knee is going to align with right hip. Right heel drops down from right knee. Left hand's going to come in. We're going to pop that back foot in. It's very graceful. Tuck the toes and then open the knee out to the side. At the same time, you're going to drop the left hip down. So there's asymmetrical legs and hips. So they're really create some movement in that hips and the low back. And the chin comes across the opposite shoulder. Alright, now we breathe into the belly. This is a juicy one, depending on what's happening in your body tonight. And when you bring that right knee up, bring it into external rotation. Pull the left knee away, stretch out the front of the thigh. And those hip flexors. Just relax. Not quite Shavasana time yet. It's coming though. Very soon.
one is another one that long time holds really good. Come out of it, bring the leg in. And then just slowly sweep the leg out. You might notice that you've moved somewhere different, so reposition yourself. And we'll take the second side. Right foot's out to the side, left leg comes up. You're going to flex into it. Grab a hold as you hook the right thigh. And drop the knees all the way over to the side. And that can be it. If the legs get heavy. Breathe. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. And big breath out. That might be it for you today. If you're working to that progression. So open that left leg out to the side. And then you're going to bring your toes and try and point them towards your right glute. So you're going to hop, 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 grab a hold. And then as we do so, we're going to open the knee out to the side. Whoa, there's a nice little release into the top of the toes. And so I can feel the pulling in this one. There's more. It's harder to turn the toes. So you might have your foot at a weird angle. As much as you can, draw it in, draw it in, draw it in, and then open it out. Lift down. A little bit of feedback, never hurt. And then the chin comes down. I say that, yogis, but be kind. Breath in. Breath out. Again, it's time. You might feel the muscles are gripping in a different way on the side. It might be a tension or a tightness that's inherent, been held for a long time. Can you bring your awareness to it? Can you be with it? Just be still and allow it to unravel. Comes that stillness. It's the hardest thing that we have to practice. And that is part of the practice. Slow, expansive breath. Yoga takes time, as do many things. Give it time. 5, 4, 3, and 1. So bring it in, fan out the leg. Oh, such a difference that makes, the ankles and the hips. Just shake and loosen everything up now. One last little release. Bring the hands above the head. Reach everything out. I'm going to pick up right leg and left hand. Just stretch the diagonal. Create space. And then drop it down. We'll do the other side. Right hand lifts. Press out and extend through the foot. Reach, reach, reach. And then drop it down. Right arm, right leg. Reach. And relax. The other side. Left hand, left leg. Reach. And relax. You can bring the hands down. Walk the feet in. Lift up the hips. Just reposition the back. This is where you might want your bolster or your pillow, something to bring underneath the knees. Maybe even underneath the hips. So there's a softness. And the hands can come out. You'll notice the toes will just want to drop to release everything. We'll close down the eyes and we'll reposition. Now my job is to watch the time. Your job is to surrender. I'm going to come up. But where you are taking this practice with us tonight, I want you to be conscious of keeping yourself on the earth and not jumping up and moving to the next thing. And that will be the tendency of the mind to do that. Instead, it is so important to rest. Say on the days that you don't have time to meditate, you need to meditate twice. They're the times the practice becomes most vital. So days when you look at the mat, you feel the resistance.
holding of ego. It doesn't want to let go. That's the days that we need to doubly set up, step on, step forward. You're going to slowly breathe. Relax those eyes down and soften those ribs. I'll sit with you. And that's important. Even in this way, we hold space for each other. We hold space to remind each other it's important to rest. It's important to stay connected. The beautiful thing is we're not limited just by this physical body. So as you have the eyes closed, you can feel that connection to the earth, to the breath, with those around you too. Even if they're not physical presence in the room, they're a presence in our heart. That's their space. There's people that we love. In our heart we have chambers that are only filled by them. So breathe into that. Feel that warmth and the connection. Even if you are alone, it's always there. Stay with it, breath by breath, moment by moment. That calm and that ease settles over the body like a blanket. And we'll give it about another 10 breaths. Pause. And enjoy the opportunity to pause. Enjoy the opportunity to get heavy with that yin, that evening energy. That is why we take this relaxing practice at this time. We soften the mind for sleep. We release the day. There's a decompression. We come home into the heaviness of body, and that's not always a bad thing. It can ground flightiness of mind. In a moment, we're going to move. Move the breath into the fingers. We'll use the fingers and the toes to remind the body that it is alive, to shake it back into wakefulness. And the breath, those big energizing inhales. The exhale is so calming, but the inhale, it's energizing, it opens us. And where you are on the earth, just take a big body stretch. And you might want to hog the bed. Take a big star shape. Reach everything out and find that expansion. Maybe not. And then we'll gather in. Walk those feet into the chest. And give yourself a little squeeze upon the earth. It's important to acknowledge, particularly on the hard days, on the days that mat didn't feel like a friend. Acknowledge that you paused to practice. The big gift. And we'll drift over to one side. Rest in recovery. When you're ready, we'll come up to find the seat. We'll spread those legs out when we come up. So the knees are wide. Take some shoulder rolls up. Let the shoulders fall down the back. And in final positioning, maybe palms upright, maybe hands in, maybe hands near the heart. Let the chin just fall. Humble the head. Let the breath flow into the body and the breath flow out. You might want to finish here. 3 breaths. Or if you'd like to join in with us, we'll end in an Om. Deep breath in. And we'll let this one go. Deep breath in. And we'll surrender this one too. Deep breath in. Peace, love, gratitude and harmony. Namaste, everyone. So wherever you are, however you're practicing with us, know that we will continue to be there for you. And check in, dear ones. You are forever in our thoughts. We will be offering outdoor classes. Tomorrow we're heading to Christensen Park, so if you have the opportunity to join us, as long as you observe distance, bring your own mat and towel. You're welcome to come along. Or we might see you via this way of connection. So much changed, and yet so much remains the same. And this is what is important. Those deep inner essences that are unmoved by the fluctuations of the world. When we come to practice, we remember those strengths. Have a beautiful evening. We'll see you in the morning.